Hello everyone, and welcome all of you to Unacademy, a place where you can crack your toughest of examinations with top educators, quality content, and not to forget the great learning experience. Therefore, join us and let us together crack 9th and 10th examination with Unacademy's unlimited access to live and recorded courses from India's best educators. Before I continue with a little more information about Unacademy, let me introduce myself. I am Tasneem Ahmed and I have completed my Master's and MPhil in English. I have also been certified in TESOL and I have trained 1,000 plus students. I also have 8 years of experience in teaching. Therefore, be rest assured you are in good hands. Well, today's topic is the recap of what we have learned in past week about tenses. Well, I took you through the present tense and I gave you the explanation of the 4 tenses that are further divided. And today I'm going to be taking you through all of those to give you a little recap of the same. Before I continue with the topic, let me tell you what you can and what you will get with Unacademy once you become the subscriber. Well, number 1, you get daily live classes where you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and answer polls all while the class is going on. Number 2, you have live tests and quizzes where you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock tests and quizzes and get detailed analysis on your performance. Number 3, you have structured courses. All our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it. Number 4, which is the most important one, is the unlimited access to all our live and recorded courses. That is, one subscription will give you the access to live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices, anytime you want, any grade you want, any topic you want. All you have to do is buy the subscription today and get the access to your free live classes and prepare with top educators, any educator you prefer to learn from, and also get the comprehensive syllabus of any subject you prefer, be it mathematics, social science, Hindi, science, or English. Well, you can also talk to us on Telegram application. All you have to do is download the Telegram application, type the link in the URL, and click on join. The next step is to install the Unacademy learning application on any one of your compatible devices. And the final step is to proceed towards buying any one of these subscriptions that Unacademy offers you. Well, Unacademy has a number of subscriptions to offer. It has 1 month subscription, 6 months subscription, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, and 48 months. Well, the good thing about these courses is as you go higher with the duration, these courses come with a discounted rate and they go higher as well with the time duration. That is, the course which is available for 6 months comes with a 33% off discount, and the course which is available for 12 months comes with a 50% off discount, and the course which comes with 24 months duration comes with a discounted rate of 58%. And then comes the 36 months subscription, which is available on 60% of discount, and the 48 months subscription is available on 67% of discount. Well, not just that, along with these discounted rates, there is additional 10% of discount as well. That is, when you proceed to pay, you will have to type the code TA01. When you type the code TA01, you will get additional 10% of discount on the existing discount, which means supposing if you were to buy the course for 12 months duration, which is already available on 50% of discount. Well, along with this, if you decide to type the code TA01, you get additional 10% on the 50% of discount, which means in total you get this course on 60% of discount. That is, as opposed to 15,000 rupees, now with the code, you will be getting this course only on 13,500 rupees only. And for a month, you will be paying 1,125 rupees only. And you do not have to worry about being in any grade, be it 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, or 12th. Go ahead, buy the subscription for 12 months. Lesser than that would not be enough, will not help you prepare for your exams. More than that might seem too much. So go for a 12-month duration and avail the 50% and the 10% of extra discount on the code TA01 and start preparing for your examinations today. So after having said all this, let us proceed towards today's topic, which is the present tense. Well, when I started teaching about present tenses, I told you about the different types of timelines we have. I told you we have 3 timelines. Well, first of all, it is the tense. Tense means time or timelines. Timelines, and we have 3 timelines specifically. Number 1, present. Number 2, we have past. And number 3, we have future. But these timelines are not limited to these 3 alone. These are further divided into 4 more, as in simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. So these tenses are further divided. Each of these tense, that is present, has simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. Similarly, past has simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Similarly, future also has simple future, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous, which means that in total we have 12 types of tenses or 12 timelines. And out of these, we learned the first 4 timelines in the last week. And today I'm going to be taking you through these 4 timelines once again to give you a brush up about what we have learned. That is, we learned about first simple present and present continuous and present perfect. And we also learned about present perfect continuous. Well, it might sound a little daunting, but then trust me, once you have understood what these tenses are, these are going to be super easy and you will not have any difficulty in dealing with any other grammatical concept once you have understood tenses. I have been telling you repeatedly that tenses are the most important grammatical concepts which you must be aware of. Even to learn the other concepts in your grammar, tenses play a major role in them. Therefore, understanding the tenses, understanding their usages, understanding their sentence structure is really important for you. That is why I am giving you a recap of the present tense before I proceed with the past and the future. So let us begin with the present tense. Like I just told you, present meaning which refers to present time, as in the things that happen in present time, the things that are happening now at the moment. This timeline or these actions are referred to as present tense as in time. So we have divided this present into further 4 more timelines. Number 1, simple present. Number 2, present continuous. Number 3, present perfect. And number 4, present perfect continuous. Before I take you through the tenses, these 3 tenses, let me give you a little insight about the subject types, which I have already done in all my previous videos, but then I want you to know them once again. Well, when it comes to subject types, we have 3 types. Number 1, the first person. Number 2, the second person. Number 3, the third person. Well, there are 3 types of persons when it comes to subject. Well, what is a subject? The person who is doing the action is referred to as a subject in a statement. So when it comes to the people who do the action in a statement, we have first person, second person, and third person. The first person is the one who is talking. And the pronouns, let us first start with the pronouns. The pronouns subjects that we use in subject places are, for first person, we refer to I, as in referring to ourselves. That is I. In singular, and in plural, we have we. And the second person is the one who is listening. Now, for example, in this particular scenario, I am the one talking, I am the one speaking, and you are the one listening. So I become the first person, you become the second person. So you in singular and plural both. And third person singular is he, she, or it. Now, the one who is not available, not present in this particular conversation, like between I and you, well, I am the one talking, you are the one listening. The ones who are not there are them, or he, she, or it. The ones who are not here become third person, or they will be referred to as he, she, and it in singular. And in plural, we refer to them as they. Well, these are subjects. I'm not talking about objects over here. I am not talking about objects at all. I am only referring to subject types that we use in subject places. Keep that in your mind. Besides pronouns, we also use nouns when it comes to subjects. Well, not very much in first and second person, but then when it comes to third person singular, we can give a name to a person like Ben or Emily. Or if we are referring to a name of a place, we can say the shop or the school. Or supposing if we are pointing out to a thing, we can say the pen or the bag. Now, all these are singular subjects. All these are singular subjects. The bag, the pen, Ben, Emily, the shop. Now, these can also be converted into plural when they are put together like this. Ben and Emily becomes plural, but then again, still third person, plural. Then the shop becomes shops in plural. The pen becomes the pens in plural. And the bag becomes the bags in plural. So these are third person indeed, but then they are plural. And these are third person but singular subjects. You need to have a clarity on third person singular and plural subjects. These are singular subjects. I, you, he, she, and it, singular. We, you, and they, these are subject pronouns, and these are subject nouns. So these are the different types of subjects that we have. Next is the verb. What is a verb, by the way? A verb is a word that denotes the action. Well, and in the section of verb, we have 2 different types of verbs. Number 1, main verb, and number 2, we call it as helping verbs, or we also call it as be verbs or auxiliaries. We also refer to them as be verbs or auxiliaries. We have main verbs and be verbs. Well, main verbs are verbs like talk, teach, learn, think, run, eat, swim, drink, what else? Walk, speak. All these are referred to as main verbs. And then we have something called as helping verbs or auxiliaries, under which we have something called as be verbs like is, are, am, was, were, and will be. And then we have something called as have verbs, in which we have has, have, and had. Then we also have do verbs like do, does, and did. and we have modals as well, which are can, could, shall, should. Well, I have been giving you the same information in all my previous videos as well, but I am repeating all this because these are important factors that you must remember, that you must know if you are trying to learn grammar, or for tenses for that matter. So these are main verbs and these are helping verbs. All these verbs are used with the main verbs that we have. They link the subject with the main verbs to make it as a meaningful or a complete statement. The next is the 5 forms of verbs that we have. Well, let me give you the example of, let us say, talk and walk. Let us take run, eat, drink, or speak. Now, these verbs are called as root, or they are called as base forms, or that is how they are born. That is how a verb comes, like talk, walk, run, eat, and drink. Well, when you add plus s to the base form, it becomes talks, or walks, runs, eats, drinks, speaks. And when you add ing to the base form, it becomes talking, walking, running, eating, drinking, and speaking. And the past tense of these verbs, past tense are, the past tense of talk is talked, walk is walked, run is ran, eat is ate, drink is drank, speak is spoke. And you have one more form which is called as past participle, and the past participle of talk is talked, the past participle of walk is walked, and the past participle of run is run, and the past participle of eat is eaten, drink is drunk, and the past participle of speak is spoken. Well, now comes the next important question. When it comes to the pluses and the ing form, there is no change at all in any of these verb forms that we have taken. Talks, walks, runs, eats, drinks, speaks, talking, walking, running, eating, drinking. There is no change at all. But the problem arises, or the difference arises, with past tense and the past participle tenses. Well, what is past participle? Let us shed a little light upon participle. Well, participle is when a verb, it functions like an adjective in a statement. When a verb functions like an adjective in a statement, you call that as a participle. Well, you have the past participle, and the ing verb also is referred to as participle, but then it is considered as the present participle. It is the present participle. So we have two different participles, present participle and past participle. Now, present participle is pretty much similar everywhere. There is no change at all, so it's pretty easy to recognize. But the problem comes with the past tense and past participle. If you take the verb talk and walk, the past tense and the past participles are similar. There is no change between them at all with these verbs. But when you take a look at these verbs, that is run, eat, drink, and speak, the past tense is different, the past participle is different. The past tense of run is ran, and the past participle is run, whereas the past tense of eat is ate, and the past participle is eaten. Similarly, Drink is drank and then drunk. And speak is spoke and spoken. So this gives us, arises or makes us ask the question, why do these verbs have similar past and the past tenses, and why do these have different? Well, why? I'm not quite sure why, but then these are called as regular verbs, and these are called as irregular verbs, meaning when you have same past tense and same past participle, you call them regular verbs. When you have different past tense and different past participle, you call them as irregular verbs. It is important for you to understand the difference between regular and irregular, because when you are conjugating perfect tenses, you only use the past participle. In simple past, you use past tense, but in perfect tenses, all the perfect tenses, be it present perfect, past perfect, or future perfect, you only use the past participle. Therefore, it is important that you be aware of the past tense and the past participle so that you do not end up using the past tense in perfect tenses. So these are the 5 forms of verbs that we have, and we have regular verbs and irregular verbs. Now let us move on to learning the different types of tenses. Like I told you, the present tense begins with simple present, and then comes the present continuous, and then present perfect and present perfect continuous. Let us begin with simple present now, shall we? All right, so what is simple present? What is simple present? Well, simple present, in simple present, the action shows that the action is mentioned simply without anything being said about the completeness or incompleteness of the action, meaning the word is self-explanatory. When you look at the word, it is simple present. Simple present, as in when you express the action is mentioned in a simple way without telling us when exactly the action started or whether the action has completed or still going on. Nothing of that sort is mentioned in the tense, in the usage of simple present, but just these tenses, this tense, simple present, is mentioned just simply without talking about the completeness or the incompleteness of an action. First, take a look at the sentence structure before I give you the examples. Well, the sentence structure is, you first have the subject. I hope you remember all the subject types that we discussed. Then comes the root verb. I hope you remember the 5 forms of verbs that we discussed, the root verb and the plus S verb. I will tell you where to use the plus S and the root verb in a while. So the sentence structure goes subject, root verb, or the plus S main verb. Well, keep in your mind, it is the plus S main verb. Like I told you, the subject, root verb, and the plus S verb. Where do you use the root verb is the question. And what are the possible subject types that we have? Well, let me first give you the subject types of I, you, we, and they. Well, when you have these 4 subjects, that is I, you, we, and they, you use the root verb. What do? You use the root verb, that is the main verb. Now, for example, if I say I like coffee or I hate coffee, you can say any of this. Like and hate are your main verbs. These are your main verbs. Similarly, you like coffee or you hate coffee. Similarly, we like coffee or we hate coffee. They hate coffee or like coffee. So this is how we say or we use simple present in present tense with these subjects. We have subject. Soon after the subject, we have the main verb, which is in its root form. This is important, root form. With the subjects, I, you, we, and they. I, you, we, and they. We use it as subject and root verb. I like coffee. We like coffee, and they like coffee. Now, what are we going to do, or when are we going to use the plus S form? Now, the next question is when to use the plus S form. Well, the plus S form is used with third person subjects, third person singular subjects. This is important for you to notice, third person singular subjects. Because when I say third person, even they is your third person subject, but then it is not singular, it is plural, and it doesn't take plus S, but then it takes the root verb. So you got to be careful. Third person, that is plus S verb, is used only with third person singular subjects. And what are those third person singular subjects? They are he, she, it, or it can be a name of a person, or it can be a name of a place or a thing or anything. Now again, after with he, you use the plus S verb. And what is the plus S verb over here? Let us take he talks too much, or she walks a lot, or it barks all the time, or Ben likes coffee. The shop closes at 5 p.m. So here we have used, you can see that we have used all the plus S verbs. The structure has remained the same, subject, and soon after the subject we have the main verb, but in its plus S form, because the subjects are third person singular subjects. With third person singular subjects, you always use the plus S form. Remember this. Now, the next factor is, I also gave you the information about the be verbs, and with simple present, I told you that the sentence structure is always subject and the main verb. But there are situations where we have be verbs functioning like main verbs, and we use be verbs with feelings and states. For this, we use the simple tenses of the verb with suitable adjectives, and these statements would be, let us say, she is smart, or I am happy, or you are unhappy, or he is clever. Now, smart, happy, unhappy, and clever are your adjectives. And we have used is, am, are, and is over here. Here, these verbs are not functioning like be verbs, but they are functioning like main verbs. They are not main verbs, but they are functioning like main verbs in these particular statements. These kind of scenarios are called, in these particular scenarios, be verbs function like main verbs, which you need to be aware of. Next is how to form the negatives. In simple present, how do you form negatives? Well, negatives are formed by using the word not in any statement, in any tense, or in any type of grammatical aspect. When it comes to negativity, you use the word not, right? So supposing if I say I like coffee, do you say I like not coffee, or do you say I not like coffee? Do you say I not like coffee? Is that how you say it? Certainly not. You do not say it like that, but you bring in a be verb. You bring in the do verb. You bring in the do verb. And because the subject is I, and you, and we, and they, you go with the auxiliary do here. You go with the auxiliary do. And because we are forming the negatives, you add not, not. You do not, I do not, you do not, they do not. And then you bring in your main verb. And here you only use the root verb. The root verb, and I do not like, or you do not talk. Okay, you do not like coffee. I do not like coffee. You do not talk much. We do not walk all the time. They do not. Okay, they do not like coffee. So this is how you frame your negatives when it comes to these subjects. And another important thing, this is our simple present. Remember, in simple present, we use the do verbs to make sure that we are converting them into negatives, and also to frame the questions as well, which I will teach you in a while. Now let us move on to the subjects like he. Oh, right, let me write here. He, she, and it, or even a name of a person. With he, she, it, and when. These are our third person singular subjects. And I told you with third person singular, you always use plus s, right? So does that mean when you are converting these into negatives, do you still use do over here? Certainly not. You have to use a plus s verb over here. So the plus s formation over here is DOES, does. He does. The plus s form of do is does. Remember this, it is does. He does, she does, it does, Ben does. And to make it as a negative, all you have to do is add the word not to them. Now you will have to bring in the main verb. Now another question over here. What did I tell you a little while ago? When you have he, she, and it, you actually take plus s verb, right? Yes, of course you do, but then here you gotta ignore it because you are using the plus s in the do form over here. As you have already used does over here, the main verb need not be in plus s form even though the subject is he, she, and it, or Ben. It has to be the root verb, as in he does not like coffee. You cannot say he does not likes coffee. It will become incorrect. It will become grammatically incorrect. You have to say he does not like. Even though the subject is he, because you have used does over here, the main verb that you use over here becomes root verb and not plus s, because the plus s is represented by does over here. So this you need to keep in your mind. If you are using an affirmative statement, then in that particular case, yes, you will change the main verb into plus s verb. But if it is a negative statement, you do not, because the plus s has been represented by the verb does. Same goes to other statements as well. She does not hate coffee, or it does not bark too much. Ben does not talk much. So this is how you frame. These are only the examples, the sentence structures that I am giving. You will have to use these sentence structures in your daily language, and then you have to you'll have to practice it. Then you will have to come up with your kind of language, and you have to get used to these types. Now let us move on to how to convert these particular statements. A little while ago, I told you that when the be verbs is, are, am, when they function like main verbs. Now these are over here main verbs and not the be verbs, right? Now if you have to convert these into negatives, what would you do? Would you still bring in do and does here? Would you still bring in them? Certainly not, because even though they are functioning like main verb, we cannot disregard the fact that they are be verbs. Even though they are functioning like main verbs, they are originally be verbs. Therefore, you do not really have to bring in any other auxiliary to make it a negative. All you have to do is convert the same thing into negative. Like, she is not smart. They are not upset. Or I am not happy. You don't really have to bring in do or does here, because you already have the required be verb here, even though they are functioning like main verbs. All right, so this is how you convert these statements into negative statements. Now let us move on and see how do you convert these statements into, or how do you frame questions, that to yes or no questions in simple present. Well, what is yes or no question? First of all, yes or no question is when the answer to the question is only either yes or no. These types of questions are called as yes or no questions. How do you frame these questions? Well, the sentence structure says you begin with do, and then you bring in the subject and then the main verb, which is root verb. Let us see if this formula holds correct. So let us take the subjects. Let us take the subjects I, we, you, and they. So, and they. And what does the sentence structure say? You will have to bring in do, right? So let us begin with do. Do I, and then comes main verb. So let us put the main verb. Do I like coffee? Question mark. Does it make sense? Do I like coffee? Answer is yes, I do. No, I don't. Similarly, do we like coffee? Yes, we do. No, we do not. Do you like coffee? Yes, I do. No, I do not. Do they like coffee? Yes, they do. No, they do not. So this is how you frame questions with I, we, you, and they. What about when you have the subject as he, she, and it? Do you still keep the subject as do? Of course not. You change that into does. Remember the plus s factor? You change that into plus s, and therefore you bring in the plus s verb, that is does. Does she, let us not forget the be verb, does she like coffee? Well, does he like coffee, or does it like coffee? Question mark. Answers are either yes or no. Another factor that I want you to remember is I did tell you that when you use she, you will have to use a plus s verb, but here we did not use it because we have used does, which means that when you use does in a statement, the main verb should be root and not plus s. Not plus s, remember this. If there is no does, then you can certainly go and use the plus s form. But otherwise, you will have to stick to the root verb. So this is how you frame questions when it comes to yes or no with subjects plus s verbs. Okay, so all right, I forgot about this is where I was supposed to, like I told you, does she like coffee? Similarly, does he like coffee? Does it like coffee? So when you have does, the main verb should be root verb. Now, how do you frame the WH question words? Now, what are WH question words? Question words are, WH words are what, why, when, where, who, whom, which, and also how. All these are referred to as WH words. And when you frame these questions, you follow a structure again. You begin the statement with WH words, and then you will bring in the subject, the do verb, then comes your subject, and then comes your main verb. So what subjects do we use over here? Let us begin with I and you, they, and we. And what do we use according to the structure? What do we use? We are supposed to use do in front, aren't we? So do. And then we have to bring in the main verbs. Let us put it as like. What type of question word can we bring in here? Let us say what. What do I like? Well, I like coffee. Why do you like coffee? Question mark. Or again, here we can use what, or what type of coffee. We can make it as what type of coffee do you like, question mark. What type of coffee do you like? So these are our questions with the subject I, you, they, and you, with third person singular subjects, which are she, he, and it. The structure still remains the same. We use does and the main verb, not the plus s verb, the main verb, because we have already used does. So the question word could be what does she like, or why does she like coffee, or what does it like. So these are our WH questions. According to your particular usage, you can switch these words, but the structure still remains the same. WH word, does, and the subject and the main verb. You can also make these questions as negative by introducing the word not, not over here. Why does not she like coffee, or why doesn't? You can contract it and keep it as why doesn't she like coffee? What doesn't she like? Sorry, what doesn't she like? Why doesn't he like coffee, or what doesn't it like? You can also make them negative as well. But the structure, if you remember the structure, trust me, it becomes easy for you to frame all the statements in the tenses. So simple present takes these kind of structures. Now let us quickly move on and learn the usages of where exactly you use simple present. Number one, to express habitual actions or repeated actions. Now, for example, when I say habitual actions, I am referring to all those regular habits that we follow. Like, what do you do? What do you do on a regular basis? You talk, you learn, you read, you eat, you drink, you take shower. All these are your regular, repeated, habitual actions. So when you are expressing these habitual actions, you use simple present, like I shower every day, or you jog every day, or we work hard, or they read a lot. So these are the activities which happen on a regular basis, or these are your habitual actions, as in these are the common actions which you do every single day. So these are referred to as your regular actions or repeated actions. With he, she, and it, he, she, and it, you use plus s verb, like he, she, he jogs every day, or she jogs every day, or you can also, it runs every day. Again, referring to everyday habitual actions, and with he, she, and it, because these are third person singular subject, you use the plus s verbs. The next usage is to express the general truth or universal truth, as in the earth moves around the sun, or the ice melts on fire, or the sun rises in the east, or charity begins at home. These are universal truths, or the facts which are not man-made, but then universally they are true. They hold the truth. So here the subject is the earth, the ice, the sun, and moves, because these are third person singular subjects. The earth is a singular subject, the ice is a singular subject, the sun is a singular subject. Therefore, we have used the plus s verbs here, plus s, and the earth moves around the sun. So this tells us that when you are expressing a habitual action, you use simple present. The next usage is to express a future event when it is scheduled. Like, for example, I leave at 8 a.m. in the morning, or the bus leaves at 8 a.m. in the morning, or the meeting begins at 12 p.m. or the show starts at 8 p.m. Now over here, if you shed light, these are scheduled activities, but future activities, not the present activities. They do not refer to present at all whatsoever. I leave at 8 a.m. That is tomorrow morning, not now, tomorrow morning, which is definitely future. Similarly, the bus leaves at 8 a.m. in the morning, again referring to future. The meeting begins at 12 p.m., not now, but then 12 p.m. The show starts at 8 p.m., not now, in the future. All these are future activities, not happening in present, but then future activities. But even though they are future activities, they are scheduled activities. And because they are scheduled activities, we use the simple present. We use the simple present. Now, let us move on to the next tense, which is present continuous. And what is present continuous? Well, present continuous is, again, like I told you, the word is pretty much self-explanatory. The word continuous, which means continuation or continuing, meaning when we are referring to the action in present continuous, we are talking to the action which is going on, has not ended, but then going on. Action is going on or in progress or is not yet complete, meaning it is still going on. The word continuous itself represents that there is continuity and no stopping or no end. The sentence structure is subject, and then we use the be verbs. There is, are, am, and here we use the ing verb form. I hope you remember the 5 forms that we used. Out of those, we use the ing verb form. Here, the subject, the be verbs based upon the kind of subjects we use, and then the ing forms. Let us quickly go and take the examples of these. Now, if I take the subjects I, we, you, and they, what does the sentence structure say? Are, am. Here, because the subjects are I, we, you, and they, with I, we are going to take am. With we are going to take are, and you are, and they are. So I am, we are talking about an action that is happening at the moment. So what are we doing right now? Or what is something that is in continuity? So I am talking, or we are singing, or you are running, or they are sleeping. So the word ing refers to the continuity of the action. So when I say I am talking, does it anywhere tell you that I'm done with talking or I'm finished with talking? Or when we say we are singing, does it anywhere tell you that the singing action is done or completed? No. Similarly, you are running. Does it say the completeness of the action? They are sleeping. Does it refer to the completed action? No, it does not, but instead it is saying that it is going on or it is in progress. That is what we call as present continuous, when the action is in progress. We use the plus s form with the subjects he, she, and it. So because it is he, the be verb of am or are is. He is, she is, it is. He is talking. He is talking. She is running. It is barking. So again, all these are showing the action in progress. These are our present continuous tenses, and we use is with he, she, and it. How do you form the negatives when it comes to these subjects? Well, let us talk about the subject with the subjects I, you, we, and they. Well, we already have the be verbs over here, right? With I, we use am. With you, we use are. We are, they are. To make them negative, all we have to do is bring in not. I am not, you are not, we are not, they are not. So then introducing the ing verb, either talking or running or swimming or eating, all the ing forms. I'm not talking, I'm not running, I'm not swimming, I'm not eating, you are not talking, you are not running, we are not talking, they are not talking. So these are how the negatives are formed with I, you, we, and they. What about he? He, she, and it. Well, it's the same, but with plus s verb, that is and not. Is, not, is, not. All these are added with ing forms, like he is not eating or sleeping or listening. He is not eating, he is not sleeping, he is not listening. She is not eating, she is not sleeping, she is not listening. It is not eating, it is not sleeping, it is not listening. So all these are your negative usages or negative forms of present continuous. Present continuous. And the next one is to frame the yes or no questions. And yes or no questions begin with the be verbs. Now, supposing if I take I am talking. To make this as a question, you bring this be verb over here in the front and you make it as am I talking. Similarly, with the subject you, the be verb is are. Therefore, you bring that to before the subject and are you talking? Similarly, are we talking? Or are they talking? Am I talking? I takes am, and you, we, and they take are. And then you have the ing verb. The answer to these questions? Oh my God. Something happened. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So answers to these questions is yes or no. Now let us move on to the next one, that is with the subjects he or she. Well, he, she, and it also takes the same structure, but then the verb that you use is. Because these are plus s, these are singular subjects, third person singular subjects, and they take the plus s verbs. Therefore, he is, she is, it is. Is he talking or eating? Any ing verb. Is she eating or sleeping? Is it eating or sleeping? Question mark. So that's how you frame your yes or no questions. Now let us move on to the WH words questions. What are the WH words? What, why, where, when, which, who, or how. All these are referred to as WH question words. Well, the WH question words begin with WH words. Let us say what. And because the subjects are going to be I, you, we, and they, what verbs are we going to use? Am. what am, what are, and are. So what am I doing? Question mark. What are you doing? Question mark. What are we doing? Or what are they doing? All these are question words, WH question words. In response to these questions, the answers are always, you have to explain the answer, unlike yes or no questions. For yes or no questions, you just simply say yes or no. But here, when I ask a question, what are you doing? You will have to explain me what exactly you are doing, instead telling yes or no. These are WH words with third person singular when the subjects are he, she, and it. You will be using is, of course, again, the WH word. Let us say what. What is he doing? What is she doing? What is it doing? So there you have your third person singular subjects. Now let us move on to the usages of present continuous. Well, present continuous is used to express an action that is going on while it is spoken, as in to express the action. Like I told you, the meaning of present continuous is to express an action that has not ended. And the first usage is to express an action that is going on while it is spoken, as in, what are we doing right now? At the moment, what am I doing? I am teaching. I am teaching. And what are you doing? You are learning at the moment, right? Exactly at the moment. And what am I doing? What are we doing? We are, well, together learning tenses, aren't we? So they are relaxing. Let us say your friends are not learning at the moment. So let us just presume that at the moment they are relaxing. They are relaxing. So these are the actions which are referring to at the moment, right at the moment when I am talking to you, when I am in front of you at this particular moment. I am teaching and you are learning, you are listening as well. So that also is another action. You are listening and we are together learning. And your other friends who are not present over here, they are probably relaxing, or they are probably learning something else, not this, or they're probably attending some other classes. So we can also say they are learning other concepts of our other subjects. With he, she, and it, let us say he, she, and it. He is talking at the moment, or she is writing it down, writing the pointers down, and it is, let us say, watching the television, the TV or the television. So at the moment, he or she is, he is talking, she is writing it down, it is watching the TV. These are the actions that are happening at the very particular moment. The next usage is to describe an action in progress which will be continued for some time in future but not necessarily going on at the moment. Like, for example, at this particular moment, it might not be happening, but then they are happening in continuation. They are not completed. Now, for example, if I say, I am, okay, one second, yeah, reading a novel, or we are buying a new house, or if you say, you are learning Spanish, or if we say they are thinking about moving. Now, these actions, focus on these actions. I'm reading a novel. Well, at the moment, am I reading a novel in front of you? I'm actually teaching at the moment. I'm not reading a novel. But I'm of course reading a novel as well. I have a habit of reading as well. So I am reading the novel as well. I might have started reading the novel a couple of days ago, and I'm not going to finish it right today itself. I might take another few days to complete the novel. This action is going on, not necessarily at the moment, but then it is going on. So for this, we use present continuous. Similarly, we are buying a new house. So we are planning, we started deciding, we started discussing about buying a new house like probably a month ago, and we have started looking for new houses. And then by the time we end up buying, it might take another few months, right? It's not going to happen instantaneously. It will take a couple of months. So this is a lengthy process, but then still going on. Not necessarily right exactly at this particular moment, but then it is going on. And therefore, we use present continuous there. You are learning Spanish. Again, the process of learning doesn't happen overnight or doesn't happen instantaneously. This also requires a great amount of dedication, consistency, and time. So you might have started learning Spanish a couple of months ago, and it might take another couple of months for you to complete the process of learning. Therefore, you are learning Spanish. Not necessarily happening at the moment, but it is going on. Similarly, they are thinking about moving to another place, another house. All that thinking process is going on from a very long time. Way back, maybe a month ago or a week ago, it started, and then it will not complete. It will not instantaneously come to a resolution. It will take a while to complete the thinking process. So all these actions are referred in present continuous. With subjects he, she, and it, we use plus S verbs. Didn't I say? So he is reading a novel. She is buying a new house. He is learning Spanish, or that is referred to as it, perhaps a dog. Well, we can assume, right? Can't we? It is learning Spanish. Or he or she is thinking about moving. So that's a sentence structure to describe an action in progress which is continued for some time in future but not necessarily going on at the moment. Next usage is when you describe an action which is already scheduled for future. Like, for example, if I say, I am meeting a friend tomorrow at 2 p.m. full stop. Or if you say, you are calling her at 4 p.m. in the evening. Or if you say, we are visiting our grandparents this weekend. Or if you say, they are leaving tonight. All these are future events, definitely not referring to present tense at all. I'm meeting a friend tomorrow, obviously in future. You are calling her at 4 p.m., obviously in the evening, future. We are visiting our grandparents this weekend, future again. They are leaving tonight, referring to future. All these are future events. But then still we have mentioned these in present continuous because these are scheduled programs, and the cancellation of this program is almost nil. So when we are sure that these programs will not get cancelled and sure to happen, then we use present continuous. And with subjects I, we use am. With you, are, we are, they are. With subjects he and she, we use is. With subjects he, we say he is, and with subject we say she is, and with it we say it is. He is meeting a friend tomorrow at 2 p.m. She is calling her at 4 p.m. in the morning. It is visiting our grandparents this weekend. The next one is the present perfect. Next one is present perfect. So what is the meaning of present perfect? Well, present perfect, the verb in the present perfect shows that the action is perfectly completed. Well, the word is pretty much self-explanatory. Perfect, meaning the action is perfectly completed. And the sentence structure which goes over here is subject, and soon after the subject we either use have or has depending upon the subject, and then we use past participle. I hope you remember the 5 forms of words that we discussed, and I also told you that we have a past participle form. And here when it comes to present perfect, we only use past participle with have or has and then the subject. Now let us see what we use with the subjects I, we, you, and they. So with I, we, and you, and they, we use have. I have, and then we use a past participle. And the past participles could be, let us say, I have run a marathon, or I have read a book, or we have read a book, or you can also say eaten too much, or you can also say they have spoken to them. I have run a marathon, or we have run a marathon, or you have run a marathon, or we have run a marathon, or I have read a book, or we have read a book, you have read a book, they have read a book, or all these are, subjects with I. With I, we, you, and they, we use have, and obviously we use only past participle, and we use run, which is a past participle, read is a past participle, eaten, and then spoken. The difference between past tense and past participle comes over here. Do not use, supposing if you have the word, I have seen many people using went instead of gone. The past participle is gone. Most of the people say I have went. It is not went, it is gone. I have gone to that place. So I have gone, we have gone, you have gone, or they have gone. So with I, we, you, and they, we use have. And with she, he, and it, or also a name of a person, we use the plus S verb, which is has. And then we use the past participle like we have run, we have gone, we have, sorry, not have, I'm sorry, it is she. She has run, he has run, it has run, Ben has run, or gone, or spoken, has spoken, or has eaten. The moment the subject changes in present, remember the plus S rule applies only in present tense and not in any other tense. So she has, he has, it has, Ben has run, gone, spoken, or eaten. Past participles. This is our present perfect, which means the actions are perfectly completed. So when I say she has run a marathon, what I mean is she is done. She has finished running the marathon. She's not running it, or she's not planning to run in future, or she's not doing it on a regular basis. She has completed. She has finished the process of running. Therefore, she has run a marathon, or she has gone, or she has spoken, or she has eaten. All these refers to the completion of the activity. How do you frame the negatives when it comes to present perfect? Well, the same subjects like I, we, you, and they, the same auxiliary, which is have, and to make it negative, we are going to bring in the word not. I have not, and of course the past participle, which is, let us say, gone, run, eaten, or spoken. Or when you have a verb like cut or hurt, which do not change their form at all. Hurt or cut. I have not gone, we have not gone, you have not gone, they have not gone, or I have not run or eaten or spoken or cut. I have not cut. To make it negative, all you do is introduce your auxiliary and bring in the negative word. The same is the case with the subjects she, he, and it. All you do is bring in the appropriate verb, and because the subjects are plus s, we bring in plus s verb, which is has, and to make it negative, we bring in the word not, and we use the past participles like run, eaten, spoken, or gone, etc., etc. All these are your past participles. She has not run, he has not run, it has not run. She has not eaten, he has not eaten, it has not eaten. So similarly, we frame our negatives with has and not because the subjects are she, he, and it over here. Now, how do you frame the yes or no questions? Well, yes or no questions are framed by bringing the auxiliary to the front. Now, supposing if I say, I have run a marathon, how do you convert this into a question? That is by bringing the auxiliary to the front by making it as have I, or have you, or have we, or have they. Then the past participle. Have I run a marathon? Or have I eaten too much? Have you eaten too much? Have we spoken to them? So have comes at the beginning, and then comes your subject, and then comes your past participle, and then the complement. So that's how you frame your yes or no question. With he, she, and it, you use has in the beginning. Has she, or has he, or has it run or gone or eaten? Has she run a marathon? Question mark. Has he gone to her hometown? Has it eaten its meal? Question mark. So has. So with he, she, he, and it, you take the plus s verb to frame your yes or no questions. It begins with the question word. Next is the WH questions, and to WH questions, all you do is you bring in the WH words like what, and with the subjects I, you use have because it is a perfect tense. What, have, and then the subject I, or you, or we, or they. What have I eaten? Or what have you done? Or if you say where, you can also say where have you gone, or where have we gone. Do not forget to put the question mark. Or what have, or we can also use why here. Why have they come? So this is how you frame your WH questions. WH word first, then have, and then subject, and then the past participle. That's your structure. With third person singular subjects, similarly, you bring in your WH words like what, why, and where. Then you have has and your subjects and it, and then your past participle. What has she eaten? Or why has he come? Or where has it gone? So these are your WH questions with third person singular subjects. Let us now move on to the third person. Let us now move on to usages of present perfect. Well, the first usage is to express an action which is just completed with the word just in it. For example, I have just What is the past participle here? You can also use had. Had is the past participle of the word have. Do not get confused. Or if that is confusing, we can also use finished. I have just finished my work. Well, had is the past participle of have. Do not get confused by the usage of had. It can also be used as past participle. I have just had my dinner. I have just finished my work. I have just had my dinner. Or you have just come home. So relax for a while. Or they have just arrived. So let them sleep for a while. Or we have just had our meal. So maybe we will relax for a while. So this is to express your actions which are just completed. With subjects he, she, and it, you use has, and you use the word just. And we can say he has just come home, or she has just gone out, or it has just slept. So these are the actions which are just completed a little while ago, maybe a few moments ago. The next usage is to describe an action that began in the past time and has gone on to the present time. To describe an action that began in the past time and has gone on to the present time. As in, it started way back in the past, it has come to the present situation. Like, supposing if I say, I have lived in this house, or here for many years. I have lived here for many years. Or if you say you have worked in this place since 2013. Or if you say we have known them since our childhood. Or if you say they have learned to behave all their lives. Now here, focus on the actions to describe an action that began in the past time and has gone on to the present, which means the actions are connected over here. The past is connected and the present is connected. Like, I have lived here for many years, as in even now, at the moment, I'm living over here. And I started living way back in the past. Therefore, the past and the present are connected. And to refer to that, I'm saying I have lived here. Similarly, you have worked in this place since 2013. So I started my work in 2013 and I'm still here at the moment. I'm still working as well. I haven't completed. So the past and the present are connected. We have known them since our childhood. We know them since our childhood, way back in the past, and we still know them. Past and the present are connected. Similarly, they have learned to behave all their lives. So they started learning about behaving way back in life and still they do behave. So we use have and then past participle. With subjects he, we use has. He and she and it, we use has. She has lived, he has worked, or she has, or it has. She has lived here for many years. He has worked in this place since 2013. She has known them since our childhood. It has learned to behave all its life, not there. Here we gotta make it as its life. All right. Now let us move on to the next usage, which is to describe an action which is repeated several times. Like if I say, I have watched that movie many times. Many times. Or if I say, you have told me that several times. Or if I say, we have heard about that many times. Or they have warned about it several times. So here, when you focus on the action, I have watched that movie many times, as in the action has been done many number of times, but then it's done already. Similarly, you have told me that several times. Again, repeatedly done, the action which is repeatedly done. We have heard about that many times. Again, the same thing. They have warned about it several times. The repeated action is taking place over here again and again. With subjects I, you, we, and they, we use have, and with subjects she, he, and it, we use has. She has watched that movie. He has told me that several times. It has heard about that many times. So with he, he, and it, we use has. The next one is to describe a past event when the effect in the present is relevant. Like, to explain this, let me straight away jump to the example. I have hurt myself. This is something that happened in past a little while ago. What is the effect now? Now it is paining or probably bleeding. It is paining now, or probably bleeding, or probably it is swollen. So this is an action that happened in the past and the effect is relevant now, showing up now. Similarly, if you say, you have given her a warning, which means she won't or she will not repeat it, or something like, we have informed them about the delay, so they will wait. They will wait. Similarly, they have, you can also say, they have informed them about the delay, so they will wait. So here, this action is done in the past. It is completed in the past, but then the effect of that action is still prevalent. Like, I have hurt myself, therefore it is paining now. You have given her a warning, so she is aware and she will not repeat it. We have informed them about the delay, therefore they will wait for us to arrive. Similarly, they have informed them, similarly they will wait. So I, you, we, and they, these subjects take I, whereas he, she, and it, these subjects will take, they will take has. She has hurt herself, therefore it is paining now. He has given her a warning, therefore she will not repeat it. It has informed them about the delay, therefore they will wait for its arrival, or whatever that is. Next is the present perfect continuous tense. Now here, this is an interesting concept because the present perfect continuous is a combination of two different tenses. One is perfect and another one is continuous. Continuous is the tense which uses ing form, and perfect tenses uses has and have. And we club these two and we create another tense, which is present perfect continuous. And the sentence structure is subject plus have or has, and then we bring in been, and then we bring in ing verb. The definition here says the verb in present perfect continuous says that the action started in the past and it has come to present and is still going on and hasn't completed at all. That means started in the past. Past is connected, present is connected, and it has not completed, as in the present moment it hasn't ended. It will continue in future as well, which means that all the three timelines have come in contact over here in present perfect continuous. The sentence structure is subject, have and has, and then we use been. And to show the continuity of the action, we use ing form over here. Let me give you the examples of these tenses. Like with subjects I, we use have. With you and we and also they, we use have and have. And I also said we use been. We use been. So I have been sleeping since morning. So analyze the meaning of the statement. You have been thinking a lot, or we have been waiting for an hour, or they have been teaching. Let us say sleeping. Fine, let's go with sleeping. Sleeping since morning. Full stop. Now here, let us analyze if the meaning and the sentence structure holds correct. Subject is I, so we have our subject I, you, we. Therefore, we are using have. And then we have introduced a new be verb, which is been, and then we have introduced our ing verb. And the meaning, I told you that all the three timelines, that is past, present, and future, are connected over here. Let us see if that holds true. I have been sleeping since morning. When did I start sleeping? In the morning. It says since morning, right? Since shows the point of time. So when did I start sleeping? In the morning. Okay, let us say somewhere around 7 a.m. I started sleeping at 7 a.m. in the morning. And now it is afternoon. And what am I doing right now? Still, I have been sleeping. I'm still sleeping. And because there is ing form, it doesn't say that I'm done, or it doesn't anywhere represent that I'm awake now. It still says that I'm still sleeping. That means I will continue sleeping for another, maybe for hours or minutes, or I have no idea how long. But as of now, the action is in continuity. It is still in progress. Therefore, the past, the present, and the future are all connected over here. This is what we call it as present perfect continuous. Present perfect continuous. Similarly, you have been thinking a lot. So thinking process obviously started way back. She is still thinking. She is not done with thinking process. She will still continue thinking. Therefore, it is going on, hasn't started. Present perfect continuous. We have been waiting for an hour. So waiting process started an hour ago. Still waiting, will continue waiting as well. They have been sleeping since morning. Similarly, started in the past, still going on. With subjects, he, she, and it, we use has. We use has and we use been. And to show the continuity, we use ing forms. Let us take she has been sleeping, or she has been waiting, or it has been sleeping. Since morning, we say. since morning an hour, or it has been sleeping since morning. So again, the meaning holds true. He has been sleeping since morning. Morning, present, future. An hour ago, present and future. Similarly, morning, present and future. All the three timelines are connected, but the subjects are he, she, and it. That is why we are using the plus S forms over here. How do you make the negatives of these statements? Supposing if the statement goes, I have been teaching. I have been teaching for 8 years. I have been teaching for 8 years, or if I say you have been, or we have been, or they have been. For all of these, if we say, how do we make that as a negative? We make that as negative by introducing the word not been. I have not been teaching, you have not been teaching, we have not been teaching, they have not been teaching. We negate the fact over here. When we say I have been teaching, we are presenting the fact, and when we say I have not, we are in fact negating the fact over here, and we use have and not with the subjects I, you, we, and they. With he, she, and it, we use has and the negative word, that is he has not and been. He has not been, let us say, sleeping. He has not been sleeping since morning, but then he just slept a while ago, probably negating the fact. He has been sleeping since morning is what I said, and you come up and you say, you negate the fact, stating, no, of course not. He has not been sleeping since morning. He in fact slept a little while ago, or she has not, or it has not, negating the fact. And the sentence structure is subject, which is he or she or it here, and then using the plus S factor. Next is how to convert these into yes or no questions. Well, yes and no questions begin with the be verbs or the auxiliaries, and with subjects I, you, and we, and they. We use have, and then we have subjects here. This is our subject. These are our subjects, and with all these subjects we use have I, and then you use been. Have I been, have you been, and have we been, or have they been sleeping, or eating, or talking, or relaxing. So do not forget to put the question mark at the end. So the subject auxiliary that you use is have, which is before the subject. In affirmative and declarative statements, you use the subject first, but then in yes or no questions or in questions, you bring in the auxiliary first, that is have over here, and then you bring the subject, and then you bring been, and then the ing form to show the format, to show this tense over here. The same goes with he, she, and it as well. He, she, it. Has he been sleeping? Or has she been eating? Or has it been keeping busy, maybe? Keeping busy, question mark. Has he been sleeping well? Has she been eating properly? Or has it been keeping itself busy? So these are our yes or no questions, and to answer these questions you either say yes or no. And the be verb or the auxiliary that we have used is has, which comes in front of the subject because these are yes or no questions that we are framing. Next is the WH word questions, and the WH words are what, why, when, where, which, etc. We begin the statements with WH questions like why, where, and what. And soon after the WH words, we use the auxiliary, which is have, with subjects I, you, we, and they. And why have I been? You bring in the word been. Same here and here as well. Why have I been sleeping so much? Perhaps where have you been going to these days? Or why have we been thinking so much about it? So much about it. Do not forget to put the question mark. Or why have they been sleeping all morning? So we bring in the question word. The main important thing is we bring in the question word, that is WH word first, then the auxiliary have, and then the subject, and then been, and then the ing verb. That's how a question word goes. With third person singular, you bring in again, let us say the question words why or where or when. Then you bring in the auxiliary and the subject and the word been. And the word been. Why has he been sleeping? Or where has she been going? Or when has it, since when? Let us put it as, since when has it been causing issues? End it with a question mark. So that's how you frame questions in with third person singular subjects. Now let us go on and check the usages or learn the usages of these tenses. The first usage is we use the present perfect continuous to show that something started in the past and has continued up until now. It shows the durations, which is expressed with for and since. Before I explain, let me give you the example. Where, for example, if I say, I have been teaching for a decade. For a decade now. Or if I say, you have been talking since I left. Or if I say, we have been waiting for them since morning. Or if we say, they have been driving around for over an hour. So here, focus on the usage of the statement to check if the explanation holds correct. We use the present perfect continuous to show that something started in the past and has continued up until now. It shows the duration. We use the present perfect continuous to show that something started in the past. Now, when I say I have been teaching for a decade meaning 10 years. So here I'm not telling you when exactly I started. When you use for, it shows duration. So the process of starting, the action of teaching started way back 10 years ago. It has been going on for a decade now, which means it started way back in time, still going on and has not ended. So all the three timelines are connected and it started in past, and the duration that I have covered in between is decade. For a decade. The next line, which goes, you have been talking since I left. So when exactly did I leave? What is the point of time over here? Point of time is her leaving. Let us say she left around 10 a.m. in the morning. That's when you use since, when you are trying to show the point of time. Since I left, which is at 10 a.m. So you have been talking since I left. So have been talking. The action of talking started at probably 10 a.m. in the morning and it is still going on. Even now, at the moment, the action is still going on. You have been talking even now. We started way back. And the duration is again started at 10 o'clock and you do the math until now. We've been waiting for them since morning. Again, morning since shows the point of time when exactly it started. Point of time, the action started since morning and we are still waiting. We aren't done waiting, but then we are still waiting. The action is still in progress. So since morning till now, a long time has gone by. They have been driving around for over an hour. Now, duration over here is an hour, and to show that we have used for. It doesn't show the point of time, but the point of or the initiation of the action, but then it shows how long the action has happened. They've been driving around for an hour. Doesn't really say that they are done driving, but then it shows that they're still doing it. Well, what would you do with the subjects he, she, and it? Well, with I, you, we, and they, you use have. And with she, he, and it, you switch to subjects like verb has. She has been, he has been, it has been. He has been teaching for a decade. She has been talking since I left. It has been waiting for them since morning. Or let us say she has been driving around for over an hour. Now let us move on to the second usage, which is used. You can also use the present perfect continuous without a duration, without mentioning the duration or without bringing in the duration but instead the tense has a more general meaning of lately. We often use the words lately or recently to emphasize this meaning. We do not explicitly talk about the duration, but the action might have just completed in a while or might have started just in a recent past. Examples would be, supposing if I say, I have been thinking about moving a lot lately, meaning recently. Similarly, you can say, we have been eating a lot of junk lately or recently as well. Similarly, they have been helping us a lot recently. Similarly, you have been talking too much about politics. Full stop. Now here we are emphasizing on the action that has only started recently and not way long back or way back in the past, but then started recently and it is going on and it hasn't ended. To show that, we use words like lately and recently. Like, I have been thinking about moving a lot lately. Well, I did not start about thinking moving way long back, but then I only started probably, let us say, a month ago, and I'm still thinking about it. So I've been thinking about moving a lot lately. We have been eating a lot of junk lately. As in earlier, we were into healthy habits of eating, but then of late, we have been eating a lot of junk. They have been helping us a lot recently. Well, they were not actually into the habit of helping us before, but then recently they have been helping us a lot. You have been talking too much about politics. Well, earlier you had very interesting topics to discuss, but then of late you are doing nothing, but then you've been talking too much about politics. With subjects I, we, they, and you go with have. And with subjects he, she, and it, you go with has. He has been, she has been, or he has been. He has been thinking about moving a lot lately. She has been eating a lot of junk lately. It has been helping us a lot recently. She has been talking too much about politics, or he has been talking too much about politics. Now, the next usage is to talk about an action that started in the past and stopped recently. There is usually a result in present. For this, I got to give you a complete example of, let us say, I passed the test. This is the result of the action. I passed because I have been studying hard. Well, when you take a look at this, I passed the test. The exam is over. The results have come, and the result is me passing because I have been studying hard. This action happened way before the exams happened. Obviously, this action happened in the past and it is not happening anymore. It has completely stopped. But still, to refer this kind of action, we use this usage. That is, I have been studying hard. Next is, you got that because you have been paying attention. Paying attention. So here you got that, meaning you have understood, because this is the result. The result is you have understood because you have been paying attention to everything that I have been telling you or explaining you. Similarly, if I say, we have been calling her continuously, but there is no response. There is no response. We have been calling her. This action, we did it in past continuously, in fact, but then the response was never there. Similarly, if I say, I couldn't sleep last night because the music, let us say they have been playing the music too loud. So here, this tense is used to talk about the action that started in the past and it has stopped recently, but after the stop, the results have come up now. That also is in past. Even though it is referred, even though the action is not in continuity, we still use the present perfect continuous in these scenarios. I passed the test because I have been studying hard. You got that because you've been paying attention. We have been calling her continuously, but there is no response. I couldn't sleep last night because they've been playing the music too loud. With subjects I, you use have, and with subject she, you use has. Here also she passed. She passed the test because she's been studying hard. She got that because she or he has been paying attention. We've been calling her continuously, or he has been calling her continuously, but there is no response. I couldn't sleep last night because the music, let us say, the music has been playing too loud. The music has been playing too loud. So that's how you change the structure of the statement with the change of the subject as well. And these are the usages of present perfect continuous, and that is all about present tense. In present tense, we have 4 different types of tenses. That is simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. If you haven't understood, go back and watch the video once again. It's a pretty lengthy video, almost close to 2 hours, but then it was really important, and it is important for you to understand these tenses, the structures most importantly, and their usage, because the main error happens when it comes to tenses, when we do not know when to use or which type of tense to use in our language. So watch these videos and the videos that I have uploaded before this based on tenses, and make sure that you have mastered the tenses. In our next video, I will bring you the simple past and the other tenses. Stay tuned and wait for my next video. Thank you very much for watching today, and do not forget to leave your comments below. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Do not forget to hit that bell icon if you haven't already. The most important thing of all, type the code TA01 when you proceed to pay to avail that 10% of extra discount. Let us crack CBSE 9th and 10th examinations with Unacademy. Do join our Telegram group for latest updates on our upcoming videos. Well, until we meet next again, have a good day, have a good time. Bye-bye, all of you.